What is up, YouTube? This is Kyan Cannon from Arguably Georgia Sports, and today we're going to be recapping Week 12 of the college football season and go over some headlines.
Okay, so this was a really huge week for several teams. Some teams that had playoff hopes, they got them crushed. Some teams that didn't have them got them. Some teams that were hoping for a bowl game didn't get it. And there were actually not that many upsets. There were a couple, but there were very many near upsets. So let's jump right into this. It was a very entertaining week. We're going to start out with Arizona going down to Oregon State, 42-17. Yeah, it was Oregon State. They're 3-8.
Oregon State, not any expectations coming into the year. Not much there. And then, Vanderbilt beating Ole Miss. You still think that Ole Miss is any
I
good?
was surprised.
I actually was up watching this game.
I thought Ole Miss was a good team. I really did. I mean, did you see what they did to Arkansas?
Yeah, well, now Vandy keeps their bull hopes alive.
And did you see what they did to LSU?
Yep.
And did you see what they did? I mean, it was just
It's weird how it works.
it was crazy.
And A&M too.
And Vanderbilt, they're having a good season for Vanderbilt.
I mean, 5-6. They have a
they
chance.
beat
They have
Georgia.
a bowl game chance.
They beat Georgia and Ole Miss. I count that as a
They have a. Georgia's kind of sloppy. Both Georgia and Ole Miss are very sloppy this year. But they have to beat Tennessee to get into a bowl game. I kind of doubt that they will, but we'll see about that. Arkansas rebounding, beating Mississippi State. A disappointing year for both teams. Arkansas should have been better.
got bowl eligibility.
Well, they got bowl eligibility last week, but Kentucky beating Austin P.
Okay,
who
they
was
were
8-11.
actually losing in the beginning, which was crazy.
I mean, it's a fourth quarter. I mean, it's the first quarter. Kentucky's not the greatest, but still, Austin P. South Carolina is now eligible for a bowl game. So Will Muschamp did a good job. Turned a 3-9 team into a potential. They're not going to be Clemson. We'll just say 6-6 team. Minnesota, who's 8-3. No one really saw that coming, and Northwestern, who has to win a game for a bowl game. So,
Okay, this next game is huge. Kansas beat Texas, and Charlie Strong was fired. Because how are you going to lose to a 1-9 team, Kansas, in overtime on a field goal?
well, it was senior day, and it was kind of cool. It was bad for Charlie Strong in Texas, but it was kind of cool for Kansas to get that signature win, and on senior day.
Well, I mean,
fans
Charlie
stormed the
Strong,
field.
he did great with Louisville. And then as soon as he went to Texas, it all went downhill. He has a losing record.
He can't win with Texas, but potential LSU job maybe.
No.
For Charlie Strong.
No.
Ed,
Well, I mean,
Ed
he
Ogeron
hasn't-
will not win the LSU job. He's not a head. He's not a head coach. He can finish the season out interim.
He's a good coach. He can
He's
do
a
it.
good coach, not a good head coach.
That's
He's not gonna get you anywhere. From where you are, Iowa State just demolishing Texas Tech, who is now not bowl eligible anymore, and the Citadel, who was 10-0 going into this game, playing North Carolina, and they beat South Carolina last year. North Carolina just pouring it on. And then Pittsburgh beating Duke, who Duke is not bowl eligible now,
Oh yeah, that was
and same for Notre Dame.
yeah. Notre Dame goes down to Virginia Tech, 34-31. They were winning pretty big early. I mean, I saw it was like 30. I think yeah. So they were 31-21, and I don't know how they turned that around.
Yeah, Notre Dame. And so now not bowl eligible for the first time since 2007. So yeah, what a game. What a fall for them. And then Georgia Southern getting upset by Georgia State, the battle of the small schools in Georgia. And then Miami beating NC State. So Miami's now 7-4. kind of disappointment this season after the way they started out.
Yeah, they started out.
And NC State has to beat North Carolina to be bowl eligible. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. And then the game I went to, Virginia and Georgia Tech, and Tech couldn't turn it on in the first half. It was just sloppy, but then in the second half they just took off and started piling it on. Iowa beating Illinois, and then Georgia beating UL Lafayette. Did you go to this game?
University, Louisiana. No, I didn't go to that game. I had some other things going on, but I mean, Isaiah McKenzie was our first half offense. We had the very first play was a sweep out to him, and he ran it for 55 yards, and then a little bit later in the quarter, he returned a punt for a touchdown, so that was a huge game for him.
It was slightly close. I mean, I know you had your scrubs in, but like you say, that's a problem.
Sometimes, we were still 2 touchdowns ahead. But when you put them in, and then they get back to 1 touchdown,
And what were you saying?
then that's a problem.
Well-
And actually, on here it says all the top performers were from ULL.
Well, when you had 4 for 24,
They
189 yards, and 3 interceptions.
Their first half offense was not bad. Actually, they had a really good run game. They had a good run game. Even though they only got 1 touchdown, they threw a couple picks.
And then Army is now bowl eligible for for the first time in a few years.
Georgia.
I doubt it, but they'll play a smaller school. They beat Morgan State 60-3. And check this out. So there is a wide receiver. I just thought this was kind of funny. There's a wide receiver that plays for Army, named Edgar Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, just kind of funny there. And then Baylor, who started out 6-0,
Yeah, they were.
4-game losing streak. What happened?
I just think that they got a little bit too excited and they thought that they could make it in the playoffs, and then they just kind of go on a losing streak and don't really focus. They just think that they're all that, and I mean, look at this. I mean, but at least they're still not terrible.
6-4. It's not the greatest. A&M playing sloppy but still beating Texas San Antonio, and then Stanford, who's back into the rankings, beating Cal by
Christian
14.
McCaffrey, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns on 31 carries.
Just exploded in that game. Finally.
He finally came back.
So could he still be in the Heisman race?
He is. No, but I
He
mean,
still had a good season.
is he? He's not a senior, is he?
I believe he is.
He can. Oh, he is.
I believe he is.
Oh, that's not good. Because I mean, if he played again, I think that there is no chance for anyone else other than Lamar Jackson unless Louisville loses their last game. But I just think that that's not.
And College Game Day, which was at Western Michigan stays undefeated, 38-0.
0. Even though it's Buffalo, I mean it's Western Michigan and they're undefeated.
Yeah, can they
the-
go undefeated?
They're only one out
think-
of
I
the
think-
2 undefeated teams in the country.
No, I believe that there are. I believe that the last team they're playing is, Toledo, and
Toledo, they could
that
win
that I think they will win that. But Toledo's been ranked a couple times recently, so Toledo's not nearly as bad as some teams that they've played this year. So and then up next is excuse us for a second. Next is we'll go Boise. Sorry about this, guys. We will go with Tennessee beating Missouri, even though it's to no avail. They're not going to the SEC championship. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, that was. I couldn't believe that when that happened. Nebraska over Maryland. Oh yeah, Missouri. They only have 1 game in the SEC.
Yeah,
Only 1.
almost two. Should have been Georgia.
They could have. They should have. Probably. I mean that.
They should have. They shouldn't have allowed that last minute touchdown. And then
4th and 10.
And then Nebraska beating Maryland, yeah. And
Nebraska started off undefeated until I think they were 7-0.
and Florida State
Bang.
Dalvin Cook runs right over Syracuse's bull hopes and boosts Florida State up. And then Florida, who's now
This to me is the most surprising game of the week.
I don't see that much.
The most surprising.
I don't see that surprising.
I thought that Florida had no chance. Okay, this is Florida LSU, 16-10. They're on the 1, and Florida holds up. Well, they're on the 3. They hold them up for 2 downs, and they can't get 1 yard. 1 yard. It's 1 yard. Tell me, people, how do you not get 1 yard?
Okay, well,
It's 1 yard.
yeah. So thank you for that, but
1 yard. 2 plays.
yeah, but Florida showed their defense. Florida has
That was amazing. That
Florida has
I gotta,
a great defense.
I gotta hand it to him. That red zone defense was.
And Leonard Fournette needed more production.
Yeah,
And
Leonard Fournette. He was injured, and so if they'd had him, they probably should have won.
And then Auburn winning 55-0 over Alabama A&M. The only thing I really know about Alabama A&M is that there's a person that there's a school close to my house, and there's a person that parks there with an Alabama A&M license plate every day. So
Pretty much all that you
Yeah.
ever hear of him is a license plate. USC over UCLA, 36-14. UCLA is now not bowl eligible.
sadly.
Oregon over Utah.
On the last, and this was a big win for Oregon. I mean, upset on the road, having a terrible season.
And even though they're still not bowl eligible, but I mean they're not.
I mean, this was all they had to play
This
for.
was huge.
Really.
This is that's they gotta win that. Oklahoma State beating TCU 31-6.
And then
I thought that here in this next game, that Colorado would lose. Definitely.
I mean, Colorado's
Washington.
number
They're
10.
playing Washington State.
And
Washington State is a
Colorado
good
is
football
going
team.
to the Pac-12 championship against Washington, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
Unless Washington
could
State,
still lose.
unless Washington State pulls off
It
an
could be
upset.
Washington State.
On
I mean,
top-
that's very possible.
Washington State has to beat Washington.
That's very possible. That's actually that is an upset alert there. Oklahoma over West Virginia, 56-28.
West Virginia came back late in this game, but
I was
Oklahoma
expecting-
was just
Yeah,
cruising.
Oklahoma, watch out, playoffs. Oklahoma, that was crazy. I mean, at the beginning, I looked. It was like I think it was.
And at the time of this recording, the playoff rankings haven't come out for this week, so I cannot wait for these rankings.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Sorry that we can't do that, but if we waited another day, then we'd be having you guys wait a little bit longer, even though we can't get out the rankings. Penn State over Rutgers, 39-0.
Rutgers is just.
What is Rutgers playing for?
I don't know. Nothing. Maybe to beat Penn State. Don't they have like the I think they have their rivalry game. I can't remember who they play though. I guess
Wisconsin beat Purdue 49-20.
Wisconsin might still be in it. Washington.
Yeah, Wisconsin is in. I mean, they have a very. Washington is also has a great chance to make it in over Arizona
Cruising
State.
over Arizona State.
44-18. All the Arizona State's points scored late, so
Arizona to be bowl.
I don't think-
Arizona State to be bowl eligible will have to beat Arizona next week. And then
Jake Browning actually does not have any chance for the Heisman.
he had a good game.
Yes, he had a great game, but I mean, when you look at the people that he's up against,
I mean, Lamar Jackson had a horrible game,
Lamar Jackson's gonna win.
but he had a horrible game this week.
Yeah, but I mean, one bad game. Everyone has a bad game.
Not Jake Browning. What was his last bad game? He played very average against USC, but besides that,
Actually,
Jake
Lamar
Browning
Jackson actually didn't have a bad game.
Yes,
It's
he
just,
really did.
Houston had great defense.
Well, dude, then
35
no quarterback has bad games.
35-13. Clemson over Wake Forest. I was actually looking for an upset here.
I thought that Wake
Because,
Forest.
I mean, Wake Forest has had a very strong season. Considering who they've played. I mean, Florida State, they came close. Louisville, they were close until the fourth quarter when Louisville just blew them out of the water, did their thing, 34 points in the last quarter. But I thought they had a chance at this game.
And this next game, I told you it was going to be close. Indiana was going to come close against Michigan. It was close in the third quarter.
Actually,
was
Indiana
very
was
close.
winning
At halftime.
early in the third quarter even. And then this was so frustrating.
Why did you go for 2?
Ohio State beat Michigan State. Because, I mean, Michigan State scored on their second play. They scored a touchdown.
And Tyler O'Connor.
And they
Tyler O'Connor.
2 first
the Michigan
downs,
State
1
quarterback.
touchdown. I don't know how you don't pull out with this game. Because when you're this close, that's all. I mean, that should be your life should be on the line here is how you should be thinking if you're Michigan State.
Your life.
You have
That's
you have to get that 3 or 5 yards to get that if you're going for 2, or just kick an extra point
And then-
take the 1 and then go to overtime.
And Tyler
You don't have to win it. on a two-point conversion.
Tyler O'Connor led the game in passing with only 6 completions.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say about that Arkansas game. They had a lot of 2-point conversions even when they weren't necessary.
I didn't watch the game.
They had one play where they handed it off to the runner and they just popped it right over, pretending that he was gonna run, and he just popped it right over to a tight end, and it was a touchdown. I mean, 2-point conversion. It was great. It was
Then
probably the best 2-point
Chattanooga losing to Alabama, even though they were winning after the first quarter.
yeah.
Yeah. Chattanooga's
Nick
very good.
Saban actually said that it was at halftime. He said
Chattanooga's a good team.
he said that he was embarrassed.
Well, I mean, he
Like,
should be. I mean, Chattanooga, even though they're talented. Chattanooga is, but
31-3 though. I mean, like,
I know, but it's Alabama.
I know, but I mean,
They should be beating Mississippi State more than they're beating Chattanooga by.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, you know, you have different games. Every game is different.
So Boise State beating UNLV. Boise State is 10-1, and
Oh, here is the second most surprising game of the week. On Thursday night, I think it was at Louisville, wasn't it?
no, it's at Houston.
It was at Houston.
Lamar Jackson got shut down.
He was stuffed.
He couldn't run
He
the
didn't
ball
do
at all,
anything.
and his passing was very mediocre.
But then, even then, though, I mean, if you looked at what he did,
He didn't do anything in this game. His running was
he got sacked a
terrible.
lot.
I mean, but
He
still,
got sacked so
yeah,
many
but
times.
his running was still, he couldn't run. He didn't,
Yeah, that's true.
and his passing was just mediocre.
36-10.
he
Actually,
throw a
they
couple
got a lot of
interceptions?
third down completion. Yeah. Anyway, that was so frustrating.
But no,
'cause I thought-
we gotta keep debating this.
because
Does
I
this
thought
impact Louisville or Houston more? Does Houston jump into the mix?
Louisville.
It's
Because
gonna impact.
Houston does not have a chance to make it into the playoffs because they only have one game left, and not everyone on top of them is going to lose. They're going to be put at like number 17, and they won't have a chance in the playoffs.
Well, then so is Louisville. They're gonna be put at number 17. Because
Well,
they
yeah,
have this-
because so then Louisville's out of the playoffs.
Houston's still going to be Houston is still going to be ahead of Louisville.
Yeah,
There's
but-
no reason why they shouldn't be.
Yeah, but still though, that doesn't mean that they're. That just means that just. But they still can't make it in the playoffs. So what is
Then
it
how
for?
come Penn
Just be
State?
ranked?
How come Penn State can?
Because Penn State is ranked, and if they're ranked 8th, so they have a chance at the playoffs.
And how do you know that? How do you know that Penn State? How do you know that they won't jump right where Penn State is?
Why would you put someone who's unranked right to the number 8 spot?
There's no reason not to.
There's a
Look at
reason.
what? What's the reason?
Look, have they had any quality wins before this?
Oklahoma, who's by the way number 9? That's a very quality win. You've beaten 2 top 10 teams. What's Penn State did? They beat Ohio State. That's it. That's it.
I think that it affects. No. Houston has no chance in the playoffs. Mark my words. Mark them. And if I'm wrong,
I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs either.
so then.
But I don't think that I don't think that Penn State is either. But if you think,
I thought that
they
Louisville
have
had a great
equal
Okay,
chance
no.
as Penn State does.
Listen, No, they don't.
Yes,
Because
why not?
because Penn State is already ranked number 8.
It's the college football playoff rankings. It doesn't work like the AP poll.
There's only
It doesn't work like the AP poll.
there's only one game left. One game, right?
There's one game for Penn State too.
Who's okay? Let's check who Houston's playing next. Houston is playing Memphis.
They're gonna beat Memphis.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so let's say that they make it into the rankings. They get placed at the highest, maybe 14, right? And then they win their next game, and let's assume that everyone else on top of them, pretty much, except for top couple, win. Then
I don't think that they're going to make it in.
so then how does it affect them more than Louisville? Because Louisville could still
Because
make
I
it in.
think that they have an equal chance, if not better than Penn State.
But Penn State, no, because Penn State could possibly, they could win. They have a chance to win against. They have a chance to win the Big Ten, and if they do that, then why would you keep them out of the top 4 if they win the Big Ten?
Because Ohio State is still going to have a better record.
Ohio State in a row.
They're going to have a better record than Penn State, and Penn State is not going to win the Big Ten.
Okay, then put 2 people in the Big Ten, and like everyone's saying, put 2 people in the Big Ten in. Then how is Houston gonna make it in? Because then we're gonna have what? Clemson, maybe. Oh, maybe Oklahoma. Wisconsin.
What in the world, dude? How Wisconsin's not going to make it either?
Wisconsin can make it in.
Neither is
Wisconsin is the best.
How does Houston not have the edge over Oklahoma? They beat Oklahoma and they have the same record.
But because, you know why? Because because they're not ranked right now, and you're not gonna jump 25 spots.
I didn't say they're gonna jump 25 spots. I said
No, listen. So this is why it affects Houston more than Louisville, because Louisville could make it in the playoffs, and Houston cannot.
But this is still a quality loss to Louisville.
But I know, but yeah, I know, but still, now that so it affects them more because Houston now cannot make it into the playoffs, and that's why it affects them.
If Penn State can, then Houston definitely can.
No, they can't because they're unranked. I think you're going a little crazy. All right, so let's.
You want to see crazy? You'll see crazy tomorrow morning. You'll see the rankings.
All right, yeah, they're gonna be placed maybe 14 at the very highest.
Maybe in the AP poll.
No,
You know what? As a matter of fact, let's check
college
out the
football
AP poll.
playoffs.
Let's check out the AP poll
Okay, rankings.
for this week. Now, keep in mind, this is definitely not what's gonna happen.
All right, so we have Houston, and they're at number 18,
And Louisville is at number 11.
and Louisville's at number 11.
That
way,
it technically impacted Houston more than Louisville.
It impacted Louisville more,
Go from unranked.
not because of ranking, not because of the math.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm not talking
That was
about.
the whole debate.
I'm not talking about the moving of rankings. I'm talking about now. Louisville has absolutely no chance at the college football playoffs.
That's what I'm trying to say, but I think if Penn State has a chance, why don't they? Look at the records. Look at the teams they've beat.
Because Houston, they're not gonna jump.
I know.
So then, what are you arguing for?
That if like you say Penn State has a chance,
They make it in because they're ranked 8th, and if they win the Big Ten, which they have a very good chance.
which is why I'm ranting about, because Penn State if Penn State has no business in the college football playoff if Houston doesn't either.
Well, I mean that's just how. That's. Okay, whatever. You're just. I don't know what you're thinking right now.
What are you talking about?
Next week, LSU is going to be playing Texas A&M. Very big game. I think A&M could pull off with the win here. And then, I think that would be huge for both of these teams. This is a very big game because, I mean, if you look at it, Texas A&M, if they have four losses,
Kevin Themselves
Then they're-
getting fired. This is
No, because if they lose, then Kevin Sumlin will be fired.
well, and that's gonna
And if LSU loses, then possibly, if they win, then possibly Ed Orgeron could be the head coach.
Ed Orgeron is not going to be the head coach. I can tell you that. They're not going
And then North Carolina, NC State. That's a big ACC game because North Carolina could win the ACC. Houston, Memphis, big game for Houston. Arkansas, Missouri. They're two not very good SEC teams. Washington State. Upset alert here. TCU. No, that's not it. Nebraska, Iowa. That could be another upset.
I think that will be an upset.
Western Michigan, because they could go 12-0.
And
They could be undefeated.
and then win their conference championship, and then make a good bowl game, and then the
Georgia,
game,
Georgia Tech
which we are going to.
to make both. This could make either team decent.
This is
because
the state
because if you listen to this,
This is for the best team in the state.
because if you look at this, Georgia Tech could possibly. I mean, either team. If you win, then you make it into a better bowl game, and if you win the bowl game, then look at that, you're 9-4. But if you lose this, and you could lose the bowl game, then you'd be 7-6, and that's a bad year. But even at the best, then you'd be 8-5, and that's not a good year at all. We'll have Michigan, Ohio State, very big there. I think that Michigan will win this.
I think that Michigan will win this too, but I think Ohio State could definitely defy the odds. And then, oh, by the way, I want to say Tech is actually favored in the UGA game, believe it or not. It's a 61% chance of Tech winning, according to the ESPN FPI. And so Kentucky and Louisville, that might be a game to watch. I mean, it's a rivalry.
No, but Kentucky, Louisville, right here, they have players to watch, and they have Lamar Jackson twice on there. That just shows. It says Lamar Jackson, for as a running back and as a quarterback.
And he's going for his 30 touchdowns this year. And then Purdue and Indiana trying to win their first bowl game since the 90s. Virginia and Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech could win the ACC.
They have to have a loss from North Carolina, I believe. Wake Forest and Boston College.
There are actually two teams that have had strong seasons. They just have a tough schedule.
Okay. So Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Ole Miss fighting for bowl eligibility. Then the
Alabama,
Iron Bowl.
Auburn, not gonna be close. Alabama's gonna blow them out of the water. I have no
this is
question in my mind.
Dude, it's a rivalry game. I think it's
I
gonna be
don't
close.
care. Alabama's the best team in the country. No one can beat them.
Michigan State.
No one. Michigan
State
couldn't beat them.
No, Michigan State could come out with some fire against Penn State.
They could.
I mean, what they did against Ohio State. And so yeah, Oregon State, UCLA, Cal, Utah, Colorado, a classic rivalry. Can
Carolina.
Utah
What if-
spoil Colorado's season?
They could. They very could. They very well could. South Carolina, Clemson. South Carolina could spoil Clemson's season.
Yeah, I don't think
Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Upset alert. Tennessee has not been playing well the last couple weeks, and Vanderbilt
Need
has
this
had
for
a couple
goal
upsets. And that too. Stanford, Rice. Watch out for Christian McCaffrey, hoping that he'll.
He'll bust out in that game, and then
Florida State. Florida's gonna win that.
Florida should win that. They'll jump up ahead of
I
Florida.
hate to
State.
say it, I really do. I don't like Florida.
Come on, you're an SEC guy, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I hate Florida completely. I'd rather have Florida.
There are guys I've seen on the internet that are just pure SEC guys. I've seen plenty of Georgia fans that just
but I'd
all
rather-
SEC this week.
I'd rather have Florida State win, even though I hate Florida State. Well, actually, really, I don't like either of these teams, but I think that Florida's gonna win. So, that'll wrap up our night tonight. As always, but not really as always, but now almost always.
Goodbye.